maganda po ngayon sa bagong JSK is puro bago po yung mukha ng mga players. Nagmula po sa lahat sa amateur. Mas maganda sila makasama sa pakikitungo nila sa akin. Nakikinig sila sa mga tips na binibigay ko, tapos nakikipag-cooperate sila kung paano namin may improve yung ngayon namin sa dating team ng JSK. Bali nakita kong pinagkaiba is yung synergy namin sa bot lane ng bagong ADC ko. Parang mas malakas po kami sa dating synergy ng kaduo bot lane ko po. Tsaka yung bago pong parang playstyle po namin, hindi na po sobrang aggressive. Lahat po naaayon na naaayon sa tama, tsaka yung mali, nabawasan na po.
Good evening, summoners, and welcome back to the Promotions and Relegation. We will be seeing now JSK as Blaze, one of the veterans, I would say the more matured players entering the scene in this matchup. But before anything else, my name is Vulcan, your shoutcaster, and with me is Atlas. Moving on to the last match of the Promotions and Relegations.
Of course, we have seen a lot of explosive matches in the Promotions and Relegations, and it all comes down to this last match between JSK and ODP, and this is going to be quite an interesting match. As Blaze said, he is the only returning player from the previous roster. Everyone else is new. ODP as well, and except for Hechizo, there's a lot of new faces as well. So these are a bunch of powerful rookies, up-and-coming rookies, being led by one veteran player.
Well, before anything else, that Atlas, let's move on to the schedule and a short recap of the standings to see who has made their dreams come true and prove their worth. To make a short recap, I think from the previous game itself, I would say Infused did a splendid job.
Yeah, definitely. From the Infused performance earlier, they had a lot of veteran players that really put the game through with their experience, with their knowledge. There was Neep, Rebenga, and even though the rookie, Iconic, he was able to put through a lot of the top lane prowess that he showed in the LCL into the PGS promotions. And it's definitely interesting as well, seeing how Espionage played as well. Even though they didn't get a win, it was still very, very nice how they were able to put up at least a fight against Infused.
But not to mention, we will also like to point out also the fact that the team synergy, especially Rebenga, with the first game Sejuani, and next game with the Jarvan with Neep. But let's conclude that and congratulate again Infused Esports for making their spot, securing their spot, and not get relegated. But now let's see, will JSK Esports secure their spot, or will it be ODP, one of the newer teams, the second seed, one of the, I would say, what's the right word to say, fresh blood?
Yeah, the new blood definitely will be a fresh breath of air for the PGS. Even if JSK keeps their spot, they have a lot of new players as well, new talent, a lot of potential in every single player that is playing in this match right now, JSK versus ODP.
But aren't we actually seeing a trend right now, Atlas, where we are seeing teams who are supposed to be on the relegation spot are retaining their spot?
Definitely. So many of these teams have had the time to practice, to improve, and to just constantly have that experience and knowledge in the PGS to back themselves up. Whether it's one veteran or a team of veterans banding together, helping out whoever's new in their team, any rookies that come from the semi-pro scene, it's definitely good dynamic between the players.
So let's see that dynamic when it comes to JSK Esports, because I think for the first ever they entered the PGS, they made it to the playoffs, but come to the next split, they kind of fell short. But now again, they're at a risk of being relegated once more. But we'll be seeing if they will be retaining their spot, or maybe ODP may have a second shot in entering the PGS.
This is going to be a crucial match. As with the rest of the matches, it's super important for all of these players. And I do think this is really a battle between the two veterans on each team. You have Blaze, you have Hechizo. It's going to be up to them to lead their team to victory, to make sure that their mentality stays on the right track, and to really shot call. As a support player, Blaze, who is very likely, as well as being the veteran, is very likely to shot caller, Hechizo as well. So they really need to bring out their best shot calling and their best synergy for this game.
And also the fact that Blaze, in an interview that we just saw, he did mention that could this be a newly reformed JSK, because most of the main roster has been switched up, and Blaze is the only remaining member of the first ever JSK when they made their first debut to the PGS. Right now, at their second relegation, I think they can make it through because they have handled the first relegation pretty well. But we'll see that dynamic once we load up to the Rift and entering the drafting phase.
It's going to be all up to the draft to set the stage to how the game will play out. And we will see if JSK really matured with their new players into a less run-down, aggressive playstyle into a more controlled, macro-oriented playstyle. This will really be the test of whether that actually materialized into this new roster that they have.
And as for ODP, you did mention Hechiso, right? With regards to, because second seed right now, getting their second spot, second chance, I would say, to make it to the PGS. But we'll be seeing if they will prove their worth, because once we do determine that, will this be a trend where we will be seeing veterans retaining their spot, or will it be, let's say, ODP, one of the newer rookie teams, except for Varsity X-Rage Esports, because they were the first and they will get instantly into the PGS as the 8th seed.
We'll definitely see how all that fares out. But here we'll be getting into the drafting phase of JSK Esports versus ODP. Let's get into the bans. This is Nasus and Scion banned out against FTD. Definitely very strange bans if you're looking at it from a previous season standpoint, but here with the new runes, it's definitely much more viable to go for these picks, and it seems like FTD really wanted those picks, so they ban it out. As for ODP, they will be banning out a lot of frontliners as well. Ornn, very good ban out, very dominating as we've seen in the previous games. Jarvan and Ezreal as well.
Not to mention also for, as you said, leaving open this, removing all these tanks enables them to go really for the chase in the top lane for JSK Esports. So let's see how ODP will respond to this. And
that is one of the possible ways you can beat out the Jace, because obviously you will have, most top laners will have a hard time laning against the Jace, so much damage, but it's also possible that the map pressure afforded by the Shen could turn the Jace on its head. It's definitely one of the ways that they can win the top lane matchup. So it seems like FTD will be picking up the Shen. Let's see how their second pick will be.
Because when you're talking about the Shen Atlas, obviously we're going to be looking for more global pressure, map pressure, more synchro. So let's see if ODP will be using the Shen, as I like to call it, one of the favorite champions of JLC from Team Manila Eagles.
Definitely. It is a powerful pick, but it needs so much coordination. And ODP really needs to really band together to make this pick work.
Because it's either you're going to signal, hey, I'm going to go in, but I'm not going to go in as an aggressive, let's say, let's go for a tower dive. I'm going to go in as a defense. So a lot of coordination, a lot of cooperation, and I would say practice with your teammates.
Seems like JSK will be going for the Sejuani as well as the Kassadin for this one. Lots of dive potential. Very, very powerful picks here if they can last in a fight. As for LeBlanc, it seems like they will be going for a very early game pick-oriented composition here with the Lee Sin, Hechiso on the Lee Sin, and LeBlanc going for that. Many of those roams, very powerful, because imagine the map pressure that will be applied on bot lane once you have 5 people going on you. You have the Lee Sin, you have the Shen teleporting in, you have the LeBlanc roaming down bot who has his own teleport.
Hang on, Atlas. Sorry to... the reason why I'm so giggling right now is because I just noticed that he's running the smite.
So it might be changed. It might be changed eventually.
I don't think so.
I mean, if they are going for the smite, it could be very cheesy.
Smite. It's going to be a smite Shen.
It could be, I mean, it could go for the push against the Jace so you don't get overpushed, as well as the cheese onto the Rift Herald with a double smite. That is highly possible, especially if you can go for the Stand United on bot side and get double smite on that Drake as well. It could be useful. They do have that natural teleport coming from the Stand United. That is possible, but going to the second phase.
But how is he going to teleport to his own lane?
Yeah, Cassio and Ryze banned out against their mid laner. He will not have access to both of those. As for the phase 2 of the ban phase for ODP, they won't be dealing with Ryze's Vladimir as well as the Maokai. So it seems like right now, looking at it actually, the smite here, he's actually running unleashed Unsealed Spellbook. So FTD can actually switch out the Smite for something else that he needs. Perhaps once he needs other summoner spells like Teleport come late game. That is possible, but it does cost a huge rather keystone advantage in the terms of raw power, such as not having access to Aftershock or Grasp of the Undying, but he does have the versatility of being able to change out the summoner spells.
So he'll be running Inspiration Tree. So the Unsealed the Unsealed Spellbook rune does enable the champion to change up their summoners through as the game progresses, but we have yet to actually see it in the competitive scene. So
it's very
this is the
difficult.
first.
It's very difficult actually to find a way to use that keystone, and if this works for FTD, it could be huge for determining what keystones are good and which ones are really not relevant enough, like Minion Dematerializer. It's not a keystone, it's a rune that hasn't really found a lot of use. As for JSK, their second rotation of picks here will be Varus and the Lulu, so lots of team fighting power in general for JSK. As for ODP, lots of pick potential, catch someone out who's out of position with a Enchanted Crystal Arrow, while still having some pretty solid disengage in the form of the tidal wave.
Alright.
This is going to be exciting.
I think we're going to be having a very exciting game, Atlas, because not to mention this Gen is running the Unsealed Spellbook, so let's see. Preseason is upon us.
Yeah.
God have mercy on our souls.
Yeah, that is actually the keystone I least expected anyone to run in the promotions and relegations, because it's really such a strange keystone. Not a lot of use. Not a lot of people have found a use for it. But if FTD can effectively use this Smite in lane to not get pushed in by the Jays, it will be very, very powerful. But let's see how that plays out as we load into the ref for Game 1 of this best-of-3 match between JSK Esports and ODP. JSK will be fighting for their slot in the PGS, while ODP will want to overthrow them and take their place.
Let's see who will prove their worth and to be worthy of called one of the best teams in the whole Philippines. Right now, Game 1, the last match of the PR. Let's get straight to it, Atlas. I mean, let's see how this Unsealed Spellbook will behave, will shape how... Okay, when you're running a Smite on a Shen, and you're going to go for the Unsealed Spellbook, rest assured that we have to expect ODP with great macro, I would say.
It's going to be 2 minutes until he receives his first opportunity to receive a new summoner spell. As for now, I do think this Smite will be used to really prevent the Jace from pushing him in too hard. Ain will have a little bit of a harder time because that Smite has a 25% natural cooldown reduction from the Unsealed Spellbook of FTD. Actually, it seems like he is starting on the Wolves side, the side that usually Hechiso, or in this game, he is Ozike.
Can he actually... Wait. I'm confused because when you buy the Hunter's Machete, then let's say you completed your item with the Cinderhulk, and when you switch up the Smite, that you need the Smite to have the jungle item.
It's actually a very weird interaction, and I will be very interested to see how it actually works out.
Does it actually work?
I believe it could work, definitely, if he's building like this. By choosing the Unsealed Spellbook, it means that he has run it before. Here comes Ozike.
Barely gang, level 2 gang, first blood at stake here. Looks like Arius will be dodging that first blood. Arius, actually, rather.
So that's just FTD going back top side because of how Ain is not really pushing this lane in. I think FTD will be able to not miss too many minions. I still think he will be at an XP disadvantage as well as the item disadvantage because he had to go for the Hunter's Machete. We'll be seeing how all this plays out.
And also, it's very curious because I really love to see the interaction when it comes to the Hunter's Machete. Yeah, okay. Look, he just switched up his summoner. Now he's on a teleport. And he has the Hunter's Machete. Looks like
it does work.
He's actually found a loophole, like how you find a loophole in a contract.
Well, the Inspiration Tree's description did say it gives you more tools and rule break. That is the real canon description of the Inspiration Tree. So that's actually something that you can use as an interaction. And now FTD could be in for a treat here. That means the Unsealed Spellbook means he has a lower cooldown on his teleport, 25% CDR. naturally on that. So he will always have more uptime on his teleport than aim. So that creates so much macro potential on this Shen.
And not to mention, maybe he might be running the second path as a, let's say, sorcery path with the ultimate hat. That is just insane pressure.
That is actually very clever use of the new runes. Here comes Ozuke. He's still going for a gank onto a Rise, really applying pressure for this one.
And when you're applying this much pressure on the castle in early phase, you don't need to you don't need to focus too much on, let's say, aggression, because you have a Lee Sin breathing down your neck.
It's really hard for Arise to stay alive in this lane. However, the CS is meaning that he's staying alive in this lane. He's not feeling too much of the pressure. He has burned his flash, which could be useful for Ozuke if he wants to gank further this mid lane Kassadin.
And not to mention, I really love it to see that FTD is going for this spell book. One of the runes that we have yet to see in action in the promotions relegations, and not to mention in one of the pro scenes in the PGS. Let's hope that it works out for them. But for JSK, they are the ones who are defending their throne against ODP.
So it is going to be quite the feat here. Looking at the aggression of both of these junglers, not a lot of moves aside from the mid lane harassment onto Arise for this one. Hechizo has really been trying to make some aggressive moves, but it seems like the opposing jungler Yom has not really minded that the ganks come from Hechizo have been quite, not really debilitating, but there's still pressure on that mid side.
Pressure, and when you're talking about pressure, Atlas, let's wait for the level 6, because when that happens, I think we're going to be having a very enjoyable game here, because we're going to be seeing FTT all over the map here. 25% cooldown reduction on your summoners, and not to mention, you can actually go for the last page, last tree in the runes to get another extra 5% CD on your summoners.
Yeah, Cosmic Insight will give a further 5% CDR on a lot of his tools, so it could be very useful. So it seems like he's going for the Skirmisher Saber for this one into possibly the Cinderhawk. So it has cost him a little bit in the combat stats against Ain. However, it could pay off potentially when it comes to taking objectives, when he goes for the teleport play or the Stand United play. The objectives will be much more secure with FTD on their side, with the Skirmisher Saber, much quicker clear of those objectives. But it's actually, I'm still not sure how this is all going to work out. This build path into the Cinderhawk could be useful. It does give him a boost in his health, bonus health. So that could be what he's going for with his really cheesy and strange unorthodox build.
I mean, an extra 20% bonus health is something that you would want to look out for as a tank. But for FTT, let's see. I mean, level 6 does happen, but seeing how JSK, they're behaving rather tame compared to their previous teams. And I think what Blaze said in the interview is showing right now that JSK Esports is somehow of a team that's tamed when you're entering the promotions and relegations, and I'm pretty much excited to see how they will perform in this PR.
And I do think they're waiting for the level 6, the level 6 power spikes that their composition has. Once Arise is able to roam much more with his Rift Wall.
Oh, here comes Tender down, level 6 happening in. Here comes the Lee Sin, going for a flash, resonating for that juicy first blood.
Oh man, Arise, even with the Rift Walk, not being able to escape the death that is Hechizo ganking him, is definitely very difficult now that since Hechizo has a kill and this mid laner, Isaac, also has an assist, it could be much more difficult for him to get ahead, especially in the Cassidy that really does not want to get too behind. He wants to be relevant when he roams. And if Isaac is able to constantly harass him out, it could be dangerous for ODP.
And when you're talking about a Cassidy in a block matchup, you need to really watch how you trade off with this Cassidy. Level 6 comes, you're not going to have a good time when you're facing up against a block. But leave it to JSK Esports. They would try and find some turnaround, some extra plans, try to fight back against ODP's aggression with this Lee Sin. That wasn't a very aggressive flash in first blood.
Definitely. And it will give them a few more tools and time to work with. And once everyone reaches level 6, such as once they get the Chains of Corruption as well as Yom's Glacial Prison, then it could be the perfect time to gank elsewhere. FTD is a deterring factor. However, they can possibly bait it out or find a way to work around that big defensive threat that ODP has.
And when you're talking about defense, look at that already. OZ. Let's just go Hechizo. Hechizo already in the top side.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to protect his lanes. He's less of a offensive threat and more of a deterrent. And the fact that Hechizo could be right around a corner, like what he did earlier with Arise, could be very potent in shutting down Jenski.
I just noticed that his name is Hechizo backwards. Clever. But here comes Crystal Arrow connecting. And another aggressive gank coming from ODP. And this is going to be a lot of resource spent, but it's going to be worth it. 2 members in the bot lane gets wiped out by ODP.
The aggression is now coming from ODP compared to the very aggressive Jenski coming from the previous season, the previous split rather. We have Jenski right here now being on the receiving end of the offensive moves of ODP, and this could cost him something huge. This could be first turret of the game as Hechizo comes in for the assist. And really, if Jenski's trying out this less... Ooh!
Jenski got the first
actually
turret.
got the first turret there.
That was actually
barely.
a race.
It seems like Ain is able to just barely get that first turret out. That was milliseconds apart. But seems like Hechizo could be taking advantage of this with the Infernal Drake helping them out for a little bit more damage. The offensive stats that will come from that will really help out Isaac, Hechizo, as well as their AD carry.
When it comes to the Mountain Drake being the tankiest elemental drakes of all, the Infernal Drake is the squishiest. So that will be very easy for ODP to secure, getting a huge bonus AD and AP. That's going to help them with especially Lee Sin, a LeBlanc, and an Ashe.
And this is actually manifesting. Look at how Isaac is quite aggressive in his moves against Arise, winning out that trade quite nicely. Both of them have Corrupting Potion. Ooh, this could give away that Yom is right around the corner. Arise.
I wonder if he sees this. And not to mention,
like he's still very
Stan United is available. Glacial Prison will not connect, but look at the challenging smite from FTD. This could really, I mean, it's pretty creative, I would say. I mean, challenging smite on a Shen.
It will help him out in a little bit of the duels coming from
look at the coordination. Very close call.
Definitely a close call there for Yom. Had to burn his flash. But yeah, I'm really not seeing how this challenging smite is working out so far. He still has less than half. Oh, dear.
Oh, look at that blind crystal arrow landing onto the barrels. But there will be the wild grab for the help. Teleport incoming. Here comes the Rise. Now going at the Quang. Quang does have to Stan United. They back up. Double teleport into the bot lane. ODP will outtrade Jenski.
Oh man, Jenski trying to fight back, but it doesn't cut it.
Oh.
And it seems like Blaze might fall down here, including Frost.
ODP going on to Frost. That's going to be 0-6 right now with the kill score. 11 minutes and 43 seconds into the game. ODP, very promising.
It seems like this will be another turret trade, but once again, Jenski's one step behind in terms of the trade, because here ODP has a chance to go for an objective after the turret trade. So that will be the Rift Herald. It's going to be one big pushing tool that they can use. This kind of composition might have a little difficulty in just these solo in these in these pushes as 5, and it seems like it will be used for FTD to have the Rift Herald.
Well, he does have the smite. He had to teleport just 5 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago. Now he has the smite, so he's just playing around. But note that the shards that he gets are limited, so he has to be careful not to miss the chance of getting that teleport. So let's see how Jenski will fight back, because they are fighting for their spot right now in the PGS. But for ODP, you know the grind for the Piltovers fighters. They've been
It's a very long and arduous journey.
They don't want to go back to it. They want to actually make every sacrifice worth.
And Chatter Crystal Arrow barely just misses everything.
Very close. Very close. That would be one ultimate down, but let's leave it to Jenski to fight back in this game. They're not yet out of the game just yet because it's too early, and the next Drake is the Infernal. If they give this to ODP, that's going to be a bad call. Glacier Pearson will not fully connect, but does get the slow onto Quang. Look at the two-man alpha pistol. Well done by Sachi, but still, the tower down from Yon. He does get kicked back in with the turret aggro. Here comes Anthony and Sachi going into the mid lane. Team members going onto Blaze with the help of Isaac onto Blaze. He gets just tucked down by Isaac.
Oh man, ODP gets something they want, a kill, but however it goes to Yom when ODP gets 2 revenge kills in return. It seems like nothing is just quite working for Jenksky at this point. They're still having a lot of difficulty seemingly adjusting to this kind of play, this new rookie team that they have. Well, ODP seems like they have the synergy on point with how they react to what Jenksky is doing.
So far, 40 minutes into the game, kill score 1-8. Turret scores even out, but the Infernal Drake is in the hands of ODP. They have more damage, not to mention they have the LeBlanc. I wonder how Jenksky can actually fight back.
It seems like there will be a little bit of fight here on bot side.
Here comes Hechiso and... Wait, are all these names baliktad? Teka lang.
Oh, well, let's check what happened there in that short skirmish in the mid lane. Huang survives for so long, and this actually allows ODP to get the revenge kill because they had to dive a little bit deeper into the turret. Yom gets kicked back. It's really just textbook counter gank here. At this point, they have to run away, but since they had to dive in a little deeper, this leaves him open for Isaac Cassie to actually take the kill at the back end of that fight.
Wait, so with that being said, I mean, Yom did a really aggressive dive here, but he was not paying attention to Hechiso with his incredible plays with his Lee Sin, not to mention offering so much pressure to this Cassidy in the early phase of the game. 15 minutes into the game, we have yet to see Jenksky performing some, I would say, game-changing trade-offs because as far as we can see, Jenksky goes in for a kill. ODP comes out with 2 kills and an Inferno.
Man, that is quite the value obtained there by ODP.
So for... it's Cassie.
Isaac is Cassie backwards. Cassie is fine. Here comes Rift Herald. They will want to get some value out of that after both of these side lane turrets have been destroyed. This will be an insta-demolish coming from...
And they're going to trade up for the Inferno here. It's going to be spawning in 7 seconds.
They will have to trade this away. Giving up the potential of more turrets in the future for a team fight.
Connecting on the Frost, just the collapse onto Blaze. ODP just baits them towards Infernal. ODP fighting back strong. Yum gets kicked back, but last the Glacier Prisoner looks at A, goes in, but gets denied with the Stand United. Very low on health. Here comes the engage and pops the stopwatch right there.
He stays alive despite all of that. And it seems like Hechiso's actually the one to go down, and they can still take this without contest. They do have the smite.
That was actually well played from ODP.
Very well played indeed. They know that once they defeat... Okay, let's break that down. They know that Jenksy is going to the Dragon side as soon as they kill the Rift Herald. So they wait for it, and they get this really good initiate, so much damage onto Jenksy. And in this spot, it's actually quite well because they get bunched up in this spot where it's way easier to hit all of their skill shots, all of their attacks. The volley just sets them up for everything. And the really brave taunt coming in from FTV into the well-timed stopwatch just allows him to live.
Great. I'm actually speechless because that's great teamwork that we've yet to see.
Now we got damage come from
It's kind of refreshing to see that ODP is doing it.
Man, that Blaze barely survived that volley of spells coming from Isaac. Here comes Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Does not actually snipe anyone out, but man, so far ODP has been owning this game. 5,000 gold ahead, so much pressure. I really like how, despite FTD, because of how he was playing, is quite behind in terms of the CS compared to Ain, but it doesn't matter. The pressure he's been applying, the utility has been creating for his team is actually invaluable compared to the CS lead that Ain has built up. And now they have control over most of the map. Look at that warning. Very aggressive on his top side of the Jenksky jungle.
And they have 2 Infernal Drakes and turret score is 3. And for gold lead, look at that. 6,000 nearing 7,000. So it looks like ODP has complete control in the early phases of the game, but the Baron will be live in 1 minute and 45 seconds. Let's see if JSK can bounce back from this deficit.
Looking at the gold as well, it is quite concentrated on ASAC and Quang, and that's exactly where they want the gold. Also on Hedgeso, so all around, they're building themselves up into this really big early lead because most of the gold is concentrated on the important people, the carries here, as well as the assassins for ODP.
And we would love to see that coordination again that we saw in the red side jungle of JSK. I mean, the stopwatch was pretty clutch. I like how it was played, but let's see how JSK can fight back because looking at the items so far, Rod of the Age is just complete, just the only item completed for this Kassadin. Frost having the vision, but right now it looks like Cassie going hard onto Ian. That's going to be a pressure coming in. Stan United will be shielding, but it will not let him survive. That will be a shotdown bounty going to Ian. The arrow will still land onto Arise, but he will still be making it safely under his turret.
Okay, ASAC a little bit too cocky in that
Does not have glacial prison. This is risky.
This can be really big because Ian is right around the corner.
The flag goes on to Quang, but he immediately regrets his decision. Going back with the wild card, tidal wave comes in. Sachi gets the kill. After they going back and forth, going in onto Frost. He's very low, gets immediately chunked down by this Kassadin, and Rise gets the kill. And look at Quang, very low on health. Flash from Sachi, he does make it out alive. 3 members very low. Same with ODP, they will be trying to back off.
Man, 2 for 1, and look at ASAC right on the corner, teleporting. And it seems like this is an ace for JSK after what seems like ODP barely winning. The cleanup from ASAC, the cleanup from Cassie just takes them all out, and JSK overstayed their welcome. Did not take into account the teleport come from the LeBlanc to get cleaned up, giving ODP the win in that team fight and extending their gold lead, their map control into this mid lane second tier turret. Let's break that down because that was great. Here, FTD, you can see that it's not as tanky as he would, but because they are split into attention, FTD 3 members on him, while Ain was left alone to try and take on the other members of ODP. This gives a lot of time for them to kite back, and here you see the difference between the Inspiration Shen and the Resolve Shen. He goes down a little bit easier, and here they're really dancing with death, but they're just stalling time for the teleport. Look at the minimap at the bottom right. That is ASAC readying himself, just really looking for the kill, shoots him down, and then everything else is just clean up.
Great play again from ODP. This is the same scenario where they have the coordination that I would say is very impressive, and it's something that you don't really see new teams entering into the PGS. This is very refreshing to see, and I think with that being said, ODP securing a very solid lead with a 41,000 gold compared to 33,000. That would be nearing 8,000 gold lead for ODP.
It seems like the experience of Hedgeso, of Sachi as well, they seem to have the dynamic of the team on point at this time, and it's actually quite impressive how they're able to lead the rest of the members into this really coordinated way of play. It's actually quite impressive. I love the creativity from FTD, and so far it's been working out for their entire team.
So far, let's see it once more. The Baron is live right now, looking at 2 smites on the side of ODP. And FTD has a smite, same with Hedgeso.
It seems like FTD has not actually shifted from that smite at all. It seems like he's really banking on that cooldown reduction on the smite as well to control these objectives, as well as his the cooldown reduction from the Inspiration Tree and the Cosmic Insight to go for the Stand United. A lot more.
And when you're waiting for the Stand United, that's going to be a huge tool to actually help them secure more objectives, more control, and be more defensive.
Really dancing around this Baron. It's actually quite a real threat.
Oh god. Look at that. Blaze already low on health. Here comes Hedgeso. Arrow connects to Yum. Here comes the collapse. Goes on to Yum. He gets immediately locked down by the Nami, by the Lee Sin. But here comes more aggression flash in, and a double kill for Cassie.
Oh man, this is just complete annihilation of ODP. FTD a little bit squishier than usual, but they seem like to be making a move for this Baron pit. Quang with that really nice. Look at his build coming from Quang. He's got the Weaver as well as the Hex Drinker here, so it's
Oh
a little
my
bit more
God.
defensive, focusing a lot more on the damage from the Arcane Comet as well as the volley. Blaze cleaning up.
Just
A will be
gets
the next target.
chunked down by this LeBron, popping up that stasis. Right on A is very low. Living Red FTD, but he will be going on to Arise. Let's see, flash available. No, he does have the flash, but will not commit because the Baron will be going to them uncontested.
Seems like so far it's very well played by ODP. They have now established at least an 11,000 gold lead. 2 Drakes, that is quite a lot of gold value actually in terms of the lead over Jenksky. The stats that the Infernal Drake gives them should have the value of at least 2,000. So this is essentially a 14,000 gold lead in their hands. If they take this Cloud Drake, this could be even more rotations for ODP if they take this. It could be quite useful. And so far, Jenksky has not made any moves at all. They've always been on the reactive side.
Never the initiator, and I think for Jenksky's composition, they have to be the ones to initiate. They have the Sejuani, the Lulu, and the Jace, but that's very difficult. But when you're talking about Lee Sin, that's very mobile ahead, and already picking up the dead man's plate, already attacking and defensive. And in the jungle side, close call for Blaze right there.
They're still controlling so much of the map. Look at the wards on both sides, the red buff side as well as the blue buff side. They are in complete control. The fear of Jenksky is being felt by ODP here. They know that they are in control because Jenksky cannot afford to reach into their own territory because ASAC might be there, Hechizo might be there lying in the way.
Oh, great sing attack, the bird.
Oh man, he's at like single-digit health right there. Almost got a taste of his own medicine.
Electro-Basic incoming slow for Quang, but that will be a wasted ultimate for Yum. So that will be one crucial setting tool removed from Jenksky. They have to think. Because right now, let's look. Stan United is now available for this Shen. Looks like it'll be very crucial for Jenksky to time it.
Around.
Note that Stan United is available, so FTD can make his entrance here anytime he wants. Teleport is not yet available just yet, but Cassie will be getting it right now.
Seems like Cassie.
I will be missing in. Sachi is the focus. Quang's
Oh,
very
Quang.
low. Here comes the Stan United. Cassie going in hard. Here comes a dive from Cassie. Takes down to Sejuani. Yum is down. Very low. And Frost is the next target. He gets taken down instantly. And here comes Dane, trying to sustain some more damage, but he can't do anything when ODP is just diving them so hard.
Seems like right now Blaze is in a duel of fates against FTD. He might be able to win this unless he goes for the taunt. Actually lives through that. Takes his own life through the turret. So it seems like this will be an ace for ODP. Taking this turret, it will surely be an inhibitor as well. Looking at the death timers, 20 seconds on Arise, 5 seconds on Frost. They could possibly take more, but they seem to be holding back. They don't want to count their chicks before they hatch here. Looking at what happens in this one. Seems like Arise really go on to Quen here, but look at that huge shield, and look at Sachi.
Also
so
Sachi.
much healing. The tidal wave was
And the
very, very
prison.
nice.
I gotta say, Sachi's doing a really good job in
Yeah,
this role.
the Aqua Prison, the bubble was definitely great in ensuring that ODP was able to get the rest of the members here. And here they're quite split in their attention between Arise. It's actually quite dangerous, but they seem to have trusted FTD to finish off Blaze. And here they're just dancing around Arise.
Oh, look at that great teamwork. And mostly we're seeing ODP playing a very crucial mind game, but when it comes to trade-ups, they always do come out on top. The Baron has been not going to respawn just yet. It still was taken by ODP uncontested previously, but now they don't have the Baron buff. Now they have to wait for it either or secure more pressure in the
They
mid
are
lane.
in a position to actually force something elsewhere in the lane by pressuring the top side of the map, which seems to be their game plan right now. It allows their super minions to slowly but surely pressure and push into that bottom side, and Jenksky will be split apart too thinly if they want to answer both threats at the same time.
Well, what is this new team coming into the promotion? Very impressive
Oh,
here, but
man.
on blue side, kind of a good disengage will not be enough for Zachi. He does get taken out by the Cassie. Arise will be getting that double kill. The teleport
There's
did
no
channel
Stand
through.
United.
Stand United is not yet available, but know that Quang does have his flash. May just go for the bait, but instead goes for the escape plus the slow from the volley.
Can FTD make something happen in this mid lane in return for the deaths of his team? that's actually one of the weaknesses that JSK can take advantage of. Because there's no teleport, there's less. Because he hasn't taken the teleport with the unsealed spellbook, he can't really pressure as much or respond to as much if he has his ultimate on cooldown. And if they're split apart, it's actually very hard for Quang to constantly bring out his damage. This build that this Ashe has built has less DPS than most other Ashe builds. It's really focused on the volley damage, surviving, as well as putting down a lot of that AoE damage, but less about the single target DPS.
And let's not forget the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, one of the setting tools that ODP keeps using in this game, because so far as Respawn, they can, because they have a Lee Sin, the Shen, and the LeBlanc. So Cassie can just quickly close the gap and immediately respond to the stun that the Ashe will land. So great job for ODP, but for JSK, saving on a kill score of 70-25. The gold is not yet even close. Look at that, 14,000.
And with Infernal Drake, that's around 17 or 16.5 thousand in terms of a lead. If ODP sticks together, gets the right amount of positioning as well as frontline for Quang, it could be very, very potent. But here it seems like they will just execute Yom here. It seems like they will be the signal for them to make a move around his top side.
Oh, that's going to be a very huge loss for JSK. They don't have their jungler. And
they don't have their engage tool as well.
They don't even have the... Even if he responds, he already used his Glacial Prison. So the Baron will be live in 51 seconds. He will be responding soon, but I don't think JSK is going to be... rather, ODP will be waiting for the Baron. They have complete control of the waves.
Yeah, they can do this, just constantly push them in. If it is convenient for them, they will take the Baron, but for now, it's just way more efficient and effective to take out these turrets. ASAC and Quang making quick work of these structures. And it seems like their mid lane is their next target, just seamlessly flowing into that middle side of the map.
Looks like Yum just responds. Pistol arrow, oh, you have to rise. Here comes Yum, but he does not have the ultimate. He can't do anything here, and everything at the front of the line, sucking so much damage thanks to the Spirit's Refuge. Plus, the Stan United for the shield, but it will be up to Cassie to clean up the fight, getting the double kill, and further solidifying this game one. Triple kill for Cassie. ODP coming in strong in the PR.
Oh dear, this is the promotions and relegations for the PGS, and so far ODP has a very strong showing in this game one in this best of 3. And JSK, it seems like even with his new roster, with a transition to a less aggressive playstyle, they haven't found that balance between pulling the trigger and then holding back. And here, they just were always on the receiving end of whatever ODP was throwing out.
And as for ODP, great job. And I would say for teamwork-wise, not to mention the red buff side, and not only Cassie's teleport well-timed to get a quick cleanup for the triple and ace. That's something that ODP is showing. And let's see if they'll beat it to game 2. And for JSK, they have a new roster. Few things to work around, but let's see if they will bounce back. Perhaps making a 1-1, making it a 3-game series of the best of 3 series for the PR.
Definitely, but of course, we'll be seeing how all that plays out, whether they can adapt to these new conditions, whether they can find a way to counter these impressive creative strategies that ODP has thought up. But of course, we being your shoutcasters for that very first game, I'm Atlas. With me was Vulcan. We'll be seeing you for game 2 after a short break. For
Arrow.
a team fight.
Connecting on the cross, turns the collapse onto Blaze. ODP just baits him towards Infernal. ODP fighting by strong. Yum gets kicked back, but lands the Glacial Prisoner. Looks at A, goes in, but gets denied with the Stan United. Very low on health. Here comes the engage and pops the stopwatch right there. On his way, but he immediately regrets his decision. Going back with a wide draw. Tidal Wave comes in. Sachi gets the kill. After they going back and forth, going in onto Frost. He's very low. Gets immediately chunked down by this Cassie. Rise gets the kill. And look at Quay. Very low on health. Flash from Sachi. He does make it out alive. Here comes the Stan United. Cassie going in hard. Here comes a dive from Cassie. Takes down to 1 and Yum is down. Very low on health. Frost is the next target. He gets taken out instantly. And here comes Bane, trying to sustain some more damage, but he can't do anything when ODP is just diving them so hard.
Seems like right now Blaze is in a duel of fates against FTD. He might be able to win this unless he goes for the taunt.
Here comes Yo, but he does not have the ultimate. He can't do anything here, and everything at the front of the line, sucking so much damage thanks to the Spirit's Refuge Plus. The stand united for the shield, but it will be up to Cassie to clean up the fight, getting the double kill, and further solidifying this game 1. Triple kill for Cassie. ODP coming in strong in the PR.
Oh dear, this is the promotions and relegations for the PGS, and so far ODP has a very strong showing in this game 1 in this best of 3. And JSK, it seems like even with his new roster, with a transition to a less aggressive